Friends, hello. I hope that everyone is having a good day. You can identify whether it's afternoon, evening, or night depending on your time zone. Matt Brown might be permanently bidding farewell to his family and the spotlight. On the set of The Alaskan Bush People, he was a well-known actor, but his career looked to take a terrible turn. After falling from grace, Matt found himself in a trap he built for himself. He struggled with narcotics, and his connections with his family were strained. He was once regarded as charming and attractive, but some scandals caused such qualities to fade. What happens to him now will be decided by the court. What this indicates for his future work is of interest to his fans. Is this a permanent farewell? Much drama and trouble in the court system. If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more amazing content. And hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, back to the topic. What we were talking about was, for many years, Matt Brown was the focus and authority of the Alaskan Bush People program on the Discovery Channel. He carried a lot of weight as the first kid in a family like the Browns, who somehow rose to fame in the media, and he had no intention of giving up anytime soon. However, neither his family nor anybody else knew that Matt was involved in arguments that would destroy his TV career and make it difficult for him to get along with his family. In 2016, Matt's issues with excessive drinking were first revealed. He registered at the Betty Ford Center for Therapy. Since the problem was negatively affecting his relationships and way of life, he recognized he needed help. According to Matt, he had started to realize that things were becoming worse. It wasn't from a place of healing and rebirth that I was honest about this. His drug habit was causing him problems. His family and the show's production were directly impacted by this lifestyle. While the rest of the Brown family relocated to Washington State to continue shooting, Matt remained in California. He was physically far away, but his mental distance was even worse. It became evident that he was not present at scheduled shootings or family get-togethers. The family, who took pleasure in being a strong unit, was left feeling bereft by what ended up being a brief break to heal himself. Even after completing treatment in 2016, he continued to use alcohol. He kept returning to the one thing that had the power to destroy both his life and the lives of those closest to him. 2 years after what he described as a ups and downs year, he was returning to treatment. Matt Brown's friends throughout the world were devastated by this and felt sorry for his family. Unfortunately, when it mattered most, he was unable to pull his life together. His rehab involved a lot of back and forth. His actions were frightening and unpredictable. When 2 women accused Matt of raping them in 2020, his reputation took a devastating hit. With both accusations leveled against him, it was obvious that he was no longer in control of his life. He was unable to accept accountability for his actions. The accusations seemed like the work of a violent, angry person. According to reports, Matt was sexually abused after a few days of heavy drinking. His drug habit has anything to do with it. He took actions that exacerbated the situation. He would attack the first person he found if he became too inebriated. These claims received a lot of attention and were made at an inconvenient moment, which made them upsetting. At first, many viewers of the Discovery Channel program were unaware of the allegations of abuse. Matt continued to portray himself on film as a kind individual who came from a morally upright household. Trying to understand the distinction between Matt's true self and what other people believed him to be was odd. He didn't give himself a chance to stop his drinking habits, so his family had to defend him. These were hardly minor charges. They succeeded in destroying all that the Browns had fought so hard to acquire. Matt was never charged, despite the fact that these allegations received widespread media coverage and permanently altered his public image. It appeared strange that allegations of this magnitude were publicly made while nothing was being done to assist the victims in obtaining justice. The allegations of abuse created a media frenzy when they were made public. Women shouldn't be mistreated, if there's one thing that everyone on the internet agrees on. The news reported on the issue. Social media and newspapers tore apart the issue. Many individuals hated Matt because they discussed how guilty he might be. There was nothing positive in what people said. There was a lot of hate speech, criticism, and demands for accountability in the comments sections. His name would always be associated with it. The public spoke more loudly than the entertainment industry did. It was difficult for the production companies to avoid being involved in the discussion, despite their best efforts. Even though no formal charges were filed, the claims still had an impact on them. The scandal caused Matt to relocate to California. There, he has been living alone. His family and those who knew him in the media are no longer with him. Nothing is the same as it used to be. Those who like and watch the Alaskan Bush family are stuck after Matt Brown's decline. Is it possible to save him? Or is he doomed to live his entire life under a curse? Alaskan Bush People was a feel-good family adventure show before the Matt Brown controversy, but it was soon marred by family arguments, judicial issues, and a first son who was unable to control his alcohol consumption. Whatever the Browns tried to maintain, their reputation was damaged. Living in the wild would not change that. Learn about the Browns. You must begin at the top of the tree in order to learn about the Brown family. Billy Brown is the leader of this crazy scheme. He passed away in 2021, but during his lifetime, his strong morals served as a guidance for the entire family. Billy desired a life unencumbered by social conventions and limitations. In addition to being wonderful in front of the camera, he was amiable and engaging. He exuded a sense of authority. It made him stand out as the family's leader. Although he appeared to be the ideal father on paper, his relationship with each of his children was complex and unique in real life. Billy Brown was married to Amy Brown. In 1979, they were married. After 49 years of marriage, they had 7 children. Like the other members of Brown, Amy was tough and resilient, which was unusual for ladies her age. Lung cancer made her quite ill, but she recovered. Unlike their father, she shows her children a great deal of patience and care. Amy is usually the voice of reason when all else fails. She has made every effort after Billy's passing to maintain the close-knit family ties that earned them a well-known television program. Despite losing her spouse to death, Amy continued to act as if it didn't affect her. The family's eldest son is Matt Brown. He appears to be the group's most intriguing member. Because he was courageous and skilled at being in the woods, he was a favorite among viewers throughout the first few seasons of the show. However, when his problematic relationship with alcohol was revealed, things took a turn for the worst. Although little is known about his current dating status, he was connected to Heather Begias in 2006. He is reportedly meeting someone, albeit it's unclear who she is. Since all of his previous relationships were highly visible, it seems logical for him to keep this a secret. It can possibly be related to the incidents that made him feel isolated and made him secretive now. None of Matt Brown's family members are close to him. It's quite depressing to feel like a wolf who abandoned its pack to live by itself. Without its pack, what would a dog be? He would want to live alone and no longer communicates with any of the other members of the pack. His love life isn't getting any better because of his legal issues and loneliness. On the one hand, he benefits from being away from them since it allows him to discover who he is without the Alaskan Bush People informing him. He is, however, also growing more apart from his family and losing the familial ties that everyone strives to preserve. Being apart from family and the public has both advantages and disadvantages. He either improves when no one is watching him or he embarks on a destructive path from which no one can save him. The fact that Matt's friends still want him to find love shows how many people still feel sorry for him despite all of his prior issues. Joshua Bam Bam Brown is one of the more reserved members of the family. Strangely enough, he was one of the slightly more energetic children in their group, which is how he received his moniker. According to some sources, the phrase originates from Bam Bam Rubble, a character from the Flintstones. The figure was well known as a child for being powerful and vivacious. It's fairly obvious that Bam Bam has maintained a very secret love life. He is not aware of any significant weddings or relationships that have gone public. He is not active on any social media platforms. It's preferable for him to keep his family alive while avoiding the spotlight. His relationship with his siblings is steady and trouble-free. He usually intervenes to maintain order when there is conflict. One of the most active and surprising individuals is Solomon Bear Brown. There were others who enjoyed his easygoing demeanor. Many liked him since he was very good at coming up with ideas on the spot. For others, it was excessive. Like the rest of his life, his personal life was equally wild. Much attention was drawn to his acquaintance with Raven Adams. Raven was raised somewhere outside of Alaska. Raven was raised in Colorado's Fort Collins. As she grew larger, she shifted. She called Texas and Washington home. They moved around a lot, and her mother, Cassie Michelle, is a well-known wedding photographer on the West Coast. There isn't much information available online about Raven other than her relationship with Bear. However, she enjoys assisting others. She has hosted several events. In 2018, they met during Bear's brother's wedding. Raven was assisting Cassie Michelle, her mother, who was the event photographer. In 2019, they began dating and became engaged. They were not happy for long. 2 weeks after declaring they were getting married, they split up. Raven was already expecting their first kid despite their breakup. While she was still expecting their kid, Raven requested that the court prevent Bear from seeing her. He was behaving irrationally and brutally, she stated. She claimed he had used drugs and threatened her. It became a full-on brawl when Bear returned with his own charge. Uncertain whether he was the child's father, he requested the court to revoke his parental rights. 3 days prior to the birth of their son River in March 2020, Raven revoked the court order. By the time River was born, the case had been dropped. The problem had not been resolved. He claimed on social media that he hadn't been informed of River's birth a few days after it happened. Their current and previous issues with access rights and child support were exacerbated by the circumstances. They also made several attempts to reconcile. They turned into the intermittent couple of country music. They split up and then reunited in 2020 and 2021. In January 2022, Bear and Raven married, shocking both their fans and perhaps themselves. Bear then expressed his happiness to People magazine, stating that he had been married for a long time and that being a husband felt wonderful. Early in 2023, their second boy, Cove, was born. They were bound to part ways sooner or later. Raven ended her relationship with her fiancé on social media in December 2022, a few weeks before they were due to have Cove. They had decided to share parenting of their children, she added. The couple just announced that they are expecting their third child together. If you'd like, you can inquire why. We all hold the same belief. Throughout their relationship, Raven has made it apparent that she wants their kids to live in safety and a healthy environment. She has claimed on several social media platforms that Bear has failed to provide their family with the contented home she desires. Bear's current predicament simply serves to highlight his attitude. Gabe Brown's more conventional morals set him apart from his family. He remained close to his parents and brothers after marrying Raquel Rose and having 2 children. You might be surprised to learn how stable Gab's marriage is. The family's smartest member is Noah Brown. Science and engineering both pique his curiosity. Their off-grid lifestyle doesn't always align with his passions. He wed Rain Alicia in 2018, but the two parted ways in January 2025. The family has 2 members. Sons of theirs. Amora Snowbird Brown, the first girl in the Brown family, is affectionately referred to as Bird. Having 5 elder boys made her a dominant youngster. Unlike some of her brothers, Bird has never dated anyone else and appears to enjoy her alone time above all else. Although she is the quietest, she does contribute to family discussions when necessary. The youngest of the Brown children is Catherine Rain Brown. Since most of her family members consider her their child, she grew up in the spotlight and has a tight relationship with them. Rain has avoided the issues that some of her elder brothers have faced in their relationships. She considers herself and makes an effort to hide things that fascinate her from others. The Brown family does contain some evil people. They have been in the press longer than necessary because of their flaws. Together, they have experienced both good and difficult times. Billy's passing, their mother's cancer fight, the legal issues, and the media's perception that they were lying about their way of life. They get stronger, change, and learn from every setback. If Matt Brown had been with his family, his decline from fame would not have been as severe, but we will never know. You lose your beauty. Matt Brown was fired from the program. The most surprised were the fans. He was spending time in and out of rehab. He then accused him of sexual misconduct twice. Even though the Los Angeles district attorney decided not to file charges against him, he had a poor reputation. The network's decision to sever Matt's relationship wasn't sudden. It occurred as a result of all the issues that were occurring behind the scenes. For Discovery Channel, there was only one option. While one of their cast members was being seriously accused, they could continue to project a family-friendly image, or they might take a calculated economic risk and terminate Matt. Taking a gamble, they let him leave. The entertainment business didn't matter to anyone. Matt's stance brought up serious ethical and legal concerns that required immediate attention. The public's response to the family was composed. Rather than publicly defending Matt or providing in-depth explanations, the Brown family opted to remain silent. They managed to remain silent, which was effective. The rest of Matt's family was spared from having to participate in the argument, and his privacy was maintained during his court appearance. Longtime viewers who had watched Matt grow up on television expressed disappointment, while others supported the family's decision to avoid getting involved in the controversy. Social media platforms become battlefields where opponents and supporters fought over everything. The consequences of Matt's resignation extended beyond his loss of TV income. He was a different person as a result of it than he had been for the majority of his adult life. The financial impact was a different matter. His family was difficult for him to get along with. It was simple to comprehend. They remained silent while he was going through the darkest period of his life. They had no idea how hard it would hit when Matt finally caught up to them. One typical day, Matt decided to go on an Instagram tirade. He claimed that the Alaskan Bush People reality show about his family was a complete fabrication and accused his late father Billy of embezzling all of the show's earnings. We learned a lot about the issues that were triggered on the show from these public claims, which appeared to have deeper familial roots. Although they were known for being close, the family was far from perfect. Additionally, Matt's reputation was severely damaged. It was once believed that he would continue his father's work and that he was Billy Brown's most responsible son. He was now viewed by many as a warning about the consequences of giving in to the pressures of alcohol and violence. After leaving Alaskan Bush People unexpectedly, Matt Brown is currently unavailable in Washington, D.C., where he is writing a new tale about his life free from family issues and TV fame. It is hoped that he will never return to his previous issues. There haven't been many encounters with Brown family members, and his absence has altered the dynamics among the family. The fact that he is absent makes everyone unhappy. According to a number of stories, he is also struggling financially. He has had a difficult time adjusting to life without the consistent income that reality TV provided. He has made an effort to be active on social media and frequently discusses his issues. He occasionally assists in bringing about changes in the nation. The show occasionally mentions Matt, which serves to remind everyone, even the fans, of the state of affairs in the Brown household. Despite their lack of significance, these clues highlight the major issue that no one wants to discuss. Their brother and son were accused and nearly outcast in Hollywood for various reasons. As long as they were linked, they would always support him in difficult times. They remained silent and sidestepped the subject. People felt a little bad about what they did during that difficult period in Matt's life, so when they talked about him, the atmosphere altered. The production firm and his family were concerned about the impact his absence might have on the show's viewership. The show remained at a consistent 0 in 2016. 7th grade for households. After he left, nobody in the public spotlight claimed that the numbers decreased. The tone remained the same, but people remained incredibly devoted. Despite all the problems, Alaskan Bush People continued to air because their fans were unaffected. Regarding Matt's current situation and his potential return, fans remain divided. Their supporters argue that he ought to have been pardoned and given another chance. There are others who think that justice was served. The fact that his family is avoiding him while he works on his life is something that some people find annoying. There have also been contentious debates on the veracity of Matt's statements regarding his family. He would never return to the show if what he stated was accurate, and Alaskan Bush People are unlikely to return to afternoon television either. People from Alaska who live in the woods. For nearly a decade, Alaskan Bush People, a Discovery Channel program, maintained public interest. A group of people who believed they could live in the forests of Alaska without interacting with others would be intriguing to everyone. On May 6, 2014, the Discovery Channel premiered the first episode of the program. The film was filmed in Alaska around Shishigov Island and Copper Center, Hoonah. Other seasons' films were filmed in Washington's Okanogan County. Initially, it was a documentary-style reality show about how to survive in the wild. When Billy Brown decided to raise his family in isolation from contemporary culture, he came up with the concept for Alaskan Bush People. It had a unique and odd appearance. The family lived in the woods for 30 years, sharing their front yard with some of the world's most hazardous creatures. The show's concept appealed to viewers who were looking for something different from typical TV programs with popular culture topics. Park Slope Productions produced the program. They employed EVO shared storage server technology to plan the logistics of filming in remote locations. There were numerous issues with the production, and it was particularly difficult for the film crew to work in hazardous environments. The team occasionally had to transport equipment to some of the most difficult-to-reach locations in Alaska. They attempted to give the impression that the family was completely isolated from the outside world. The process of creating Alaskan Bush People was expensive. Fakeness is more expensive than authenticity. Longer crew deployments, specialist equipment, and logistical aids were required for filming in remote locations. Helicopters were frequently required to transport personnel and gear to filming sites. Satellite communication techniques made it possible to transmit video from locations without standard infrastructure. It took a village to make Alaskan Bush People happen, albeit we're not exactly sure how much these things cost. Another issue that the show always had to cope with was Alaska's weather. They frequently couldn't film on time due to storms, extremely high temperatures, and common transportation issues. For practically every aspect of the filming process, including where to shoot and how to escape in case of an emergency, the production team had to maintain backup plans. As a result of these factors, production costs continued to rise. This production is expensive in comparison to other reality shows that are set in actual locations. The popularity of the show in its early years justified these expenses. However, production costs were not fixed. The economy was gradually entering a downturn, and the cost of many goods continued to rise. One of the primary causes of the show's silent conclusion was the expense of production. Who would have guessed that it would be more expensive to be loyal to yourself? Only because they disliked shows that were overly centered on contemporary prosperity or those who preferred the past did the Alaskan Bush People's audience enjoy them. They would become considerably less popular and see a further decline in numbers if the producers took a different approach from what the people wanted. Despite the producers' best efforts to maintain realism, the show received increasingly negative reviews as concerns about authenticity surfaced. Some claimed it was a contrived or phony reality TV show, while others claimed it was a real one. People began to question whether the family actually led such a simple life as depicted on television. According to some sources, the Brown family occasionally slept in hotels during breaks from filming so they could enjoy contemporary amenities away from the cameras. Matt's lengthy tirade on Instagram caused people to rethink their preconceived notions. It's possible that the creative team didn't think what was being said was true. The family's ability to survive was criticized for not always being consistent. Some observed that their techniques frequently appeared phony or were ineffective for actual wilderness survival. As word of their legal issues circulated, the show's reputation suffered even further. They were charged with registration fraud, and it appeared that the Alaskan Bush People had been spreading a single, massive untruth for nearly a decade. They were severely mistreated by others on social media. Because of the flaws and errors in their stories, they ridiculed and degraded the Brown family. The show's reputation shifted from one of extreme adventure to one of goose stories. Beyond charges and honesty, the show had other issues. The family was dealing with numerous legal issues. They claimed to dwell there when they actually lived somewhere else in order to receive state assistance. The unpleasant Bush family from Alaska was going to die, and there were many things to attend to. When their father passed away, they realized a phase was finished. Everything was different. It was no longer the same show. Without Matt and Billy, the show appeared to have lost its direction. The show began to struggle to maintain its initial appeal and consistent plot. At last, Alaskan Bush People was no longer broadcast. The primary cause was a $500 lawsuit filed by Brown's former business partner and Robert Mann, the estate of the late Billy Brown. When the show's final episode aired in 2022, viewers were eagerly awaiting the release of a new season in the hopes that the legal issue would be discussed. However, neither the Discovery Channel nor any of the Brown family could be contacted. After years of that, everyone realized that the show was ended. It was inevitable that the cancellation would occur. Everyone knew. The group was aware of it. The actors were aware. After Matt departed the show, it appeared as though everything would collapse, yet there was a slender thread that kept everything together. The family's behavior surrounding controversy was too much for Discovery Channel to stomach, and the show's ratings weren't improving. Nobody seemed to give a damn. According to a source, the network had had enough of the family's antics. They made no mention of ending the show, indicating that they had no intention of re-establishing the Brown family's relationship with the network. It's not the first time a family on television has experienced difficulties or a family member's separation. Although they had issues, they did not manage them effectively. Public relations didn't really matter to them. These factors made it difficult for production to assist, even if they had the funding. Although they started the mess, the Browns had little interest in tidying up. When ideas aren't carefully considered, reality shows can end up like Alaskan Bush People. They may have been successful at first in popularizing alternative lifestyles on television, but their downfall made their achievements appear to be just another failed endeavor. He might benefit in the long run from not being close to Matt Brown. It appears that danger will find them wherever there are multiple Browns. What are your thoughts on the Browns? In the space provided below, type your thoughts. Kindly like and share this video. If you want to watch more films like this, be sure to follow this channel.